Welcome back to Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast for our weekly show. We've got a lot of race recaps, previews to do. It's some of the busiest weeks of racing. This is brought to you by our show partner, Join Cycling. Talk about some events maybe you could do in the future in combination with Join. Benji's been Legoing. I just finished the Burrow Collector's Edition of Harry Potter. Quite liked it. I'm getting Gringotts and Diagon Alley next. Actually, Diagon Alley next.
I actually haven't done much Legoing in the last week. I must confess, the only thing I've done is like the fell beast from Lord of the Rings, the one that the Nazgul ride, that dragon-like creature. That's what I've been working on in the last few days, but it's like 300 pieces. So I've been slacking, my friend. We need to up our game.
Do you reckon we can bring is Warhammer? You never did that, did you?
I never did Warhammer. I'm afraid.
I think that's because I was growing up in the UK, right age, right time for like peak Warhammer.
Yeah, that's not the case. I'm like heavy Lord of the Rings. I had Star Wars as a kid. I've got some Lego Star Wars as well, but I don't know. I'm more into the Lord of the Rings stuff right now.
We got some mythical beings sprinting up hills in the UAE Tour. We're going to do a preview / recap of Stage 1. We have Tadej Pogačar having sort of a Jonas Vingegaard-esque experience with a fan. We've got Oman recap, Valencia Women recap, Provence, Figueira Champions Classic, Murcia, Almeria. We have news of Jonas Vingegaard's coach leaving Visma Lisa bike and riders, various complaints from exiting riders. Marc Soler's father receiving a doping suspension, and also how we view the last month and a half of the season. Benji wants to talk Winter Olympics. I think his wife's put that in there in the notes because she is big into winter sports, let's say.
Yes, that is true. But I think we should start off with a simple one. UAE Tour. We just watched Stage 1 of the UAE Tour. It was it's not a flat sprint, Patrick, Stage 1. It's the uphill sprint that we saw last year. We've got Madinat Zayed not really in there, or actually, yes, there's a starting location. But Liwa Palace Madinat Zayed, to me, that shouts echelons. And then before the stage started, or at least before I started watching the stage, I get this notification on my phone where it shouts stage shortened because of too much wind. I'm sorry, Patrick. It's UAE.
No, they didn't. They took out a section of the stage because they couldn't clear it of sand. So they go onto a literal. The whole peloton goes onto a cycle track.
Okay.
And sand had been there's higher banked sand dunes on the side of the cycle track, and they couldn't get enough sand off it, so it wasn't safe. It wasn't that the wind was too high.
Okay, I'll accept that.
I am the ultimate Gulf State race apologist.
Yes, you are. That said, we've got some ups and downs in the last half of this race, though. It's like, I think 111K roughly now instead of the 138 that it was. That's my assumption from the top of my head. Could be wrong in that, but it's all about the final 5K because we've got this tourist tempo in the last 15 to 5 kilometers even. So it shows that we first had a tailwind for a long portion of the parcours. Then on the way back, we had some headwind, and that slows the tempo to a point where I think, hot take, with our joint cycling training, I think we could follow the peloton there for a few minutes. I think it was feasible. Is that fair?
No.
We weren't pedaling.
I think there was also a little bit of nervousness at the start of the stage. So yeah, the wind direction was just wrong. It was just wrong. So if it was 10 or 5 degrees a bit more to the side, we would have had carnage today. In neutral, everyone was panicking. Everyone was at the front in neutral because it was slight cross tail, like 35 plus kilometers an hour. And yeah, it just wasn't the right direction. So then we had tail and headwind.
I think Patrick's the only person that had like boots on the ground people to report on the neutral situation in this race. I started watching in the final stretch, I'm afraid.
People were nervous. Everyone, that's what happens. Twitter was like, there's going to be big echelons. And when you hear that.
If Twitter says that, there's never echelons.
Yeah. No one even tried. No one even tried to split it once. And I don't think it was just too much from the back. The start list, though, we had Del Toro was the stage favorite. Johnny Milan, who won this stage last year, the second favorite. This is an uphill sprint. We've got Remco here, who's obviously very strong. Tiberi, Gol, David Gaudu, grinding through. Welsford as a sprinter. Milan and G West, indeed, is a late addition. The little trek. Rider, former winner of the UAE Tour, Lennart van Eetvelt for Lotto. Ethan Vernon, sometimes good in an uphill sprint. Dunbar. Van Wilder feels gold. Ben O'Connor. Luke Plapp is in good shape. Ben
Quintana.
Nairo Quintana's actually in decent shape. Michael Storer, who just top 5 Lombardia last year. But yeah, Tobias Johaug and Johannesson, it's a strong start list. And of course, Astana can't be written off. They're always performing. But yeah, Del Toro is the, I think, not the favorite for GC, favorite for the stage. He's got, Pollitt, Vermeersch, Hergots helping him for the flat stages, and Yates as the main climbing support, maybe the best climber. We'll see.
Ooh.
But yeah, this uphill sprint's quite interesting because it's the GC riders can try and win. Pogačar last year launched early and ran out of steam, and then Milan held off Philipsen maybe and Fisher Black. And then when you tuned in, Benji, you saw the most boring part of the race. But yeah, there was just
yes. I did hear that Jonathan Milan won the intermediate sprint, so that's some points towards that. But towards the last 5 kilometers is that anticipation moment to that uphill sprint. And you mentioned it. We've got that uphill sprint. I love that stage. You love that stage. It reminds me of that Carapaz through the Polonia stage win maybe 5 to 7 years ago, where it was an uphill drag sprint. I love that so much. And it's what we get here because there's so many different riders in the peloton, so many different rider types that end up in the top 10. And it's fascinating. But we entered the last couple of kilometers and I'm looking, okay, Milan's kind of not at the front directly. We've got Decathlon kind of taking control on the left side of the road. We've got multiple teams trying to keep their riders towards the front. But did you spot any positioning towards Del Toro and Remco Evenepoel for this final that would indicate whether also Remco could potentially go for the stage?
Remco, no. So UAE and Visma were lined up on, it looked like the Tour de France. Like, honestly, they were lined up on the front left next to each other, side by side, when nothing was happening the whole stage. Remco less so. And probably he was like, guys, we don't need to stress to be at the front. Yeah. He got to the front late. I think Moscon moved him up well on the inside before a roundabout, pretty well in the last 2Ks. Milan wasn't there. Tullet and so Tullet was just following Del Toro everywhere. Then they got chopped out of it at 3Ks. And then Del Toro came up with Tullet late, but then Del Toro got chopped out of it again. Duels positioning Tullet. He gets onto the Ineos train. Ineos, so safe. They got the big rouleurs. They're going for Welsford. It's going to be too hard for Welsford. Yeah. But then Del Toro, you can't see. Pardon?
I actually thought they would consider going for Tarling on the stage.
Nah.
He's done some versatile sprint stuff. He's done some small group sprint stuff.
You know who's most likely? Ben Swift.
I don't trust him enough to be competitive. I would take Tarling over Swift for this.
For this finish, you actually need like a very specific type of sprinter. You need a Caleb Ewan. He used to clean. Can they get Caleb Ewan back out of retirement for a second time?
I'm sorry, but Ben Turner would have been great for this.
Ben Turner's great for this. Brennan, Pedersen. It's a strongman sprint. And
Ganna?
Yeah,
he's done this before.
It's like the Provence-Manosque uphill finish. You're right. And Tyler gets put on the Ineos train. Del Toro, we can't see. Ineos are riding it through. They got Connor Swift, Tarling. Then they die. It stops. An FDJ launches. No one wants to go after him. Tullet's looking on the front, and then bang, out of the saddle, Del Toro just sends it. No one can respond. His initial attack, it reminded me of his Australia, his first World Tour win, just hits them with a change of speed that no one can do anything. And he does what Pogačar couldn't do last year. Maybe he's going to be better than Pog this year. He rides away, holds on for the uphill sprint to Lever Palace, and wins still pretty comfortably. It's Case Bowl. You need the knocker course specialist for this. Case Bowl, Niels Eckhoff, Tim Merlier. It's kind of a similar finish.
Yeah, but I did not expect Case Bowl to be second here. I looked at the start list of Decathlon yesterday, and I thought, okay, they're really missing Olaf Koe in this roster because that would be the guy that's going for the actual flat sprints in this race.
Lund.
And Lund Andresen for this specific stage, I fully agree with you there. But it still shocks me how differentiating we see a top 10 here. Del Toro, fair. Case Bowl, sure, I'll accept it that he could top 10. I didn't expect him on the podium. 100%. I thought he wasn't going to be near a podium here. Malucelli, Romele had similar finishes in smaller races in the past, but I wanted to get to that. Tiberi is the one in the top 5 that I really didn't see coming. Have we ever seen something like this from Tiberi?
Well, because he's never won a sprint, right? Like
No.
when you run through, okay, we've got a group of 5 GC guys sprinting, you know, I would never pick Tadej to win a flat sprint even against like GC climbers. So it's just a different test. You've got Case Bowlers getting there because he has the big kick and momentum.
Yeah.
And then you've got the guys like maybe Tadej, he's just got his 90-second power watts per kilo, just getting him there fast enough without a change of speed. Del Toro's got both. He's doing a shitload of watts, and he has the acceleration that he got everyone off his wheel at the start. Perfect timing, had the cojones to go for it. Very, very impressive win from Del Toro, I got to say, because I know there's no Pedersen or Van Aert because he came third, right, in that uphill grind in the Giro, or second? No, the Vicenza finish. He got put on 2 seconds by Van Aert and Pedersen. This is easier than that, and he just destroys everybody. So very, very impressive, and takes 10 bonies, goes into the GC lead. I'm seeing no time gaps attributed, which is, first of all, this is an uphill finish, so it shouldn't be the 3-second rule, right?
Well, I don't know what the actual rules of the UAE Tour say, but it shouldn't be in the first place. So if the rule says that the 3-second rule applies here, then the rules are wrong, in my opinion.
And like I'm seeing Stora, Milan, and Co. crashed, and Dainese, they've been given the same time. But yeah, it's an uphill sprint. In a Grand Tour, this is never, ever a 3-second rule. Or the 3K rule. Like in that Vuelta stage that Gaudu mugged Pedersen and Vingegaard, there's no 3K rule in that sort of finish.
That is true. Now, Jonathan Milan crashing, how do we perceive his potential injuries? Because they were looking at his collarbone initially, but then he got back on the bike and finished the race. It looked like he wasn't putting as much pressure on one of the arms as the other after the crash. He obviously didn't finish with the peloton, but I'm a little bit worried towards the rest of this UAE Tour. Obviously, he was the by far favorite for the flat sprints. But now, it really depends on what's the consequence of the crash for him.
He's got 2 days recovery.
Really yep, fair.
So,
well, Jebel Mobra's not exactly recovery.
Jesus. He's never done a climb in a race that hard, but yeah, because he's never done the Vuelta, right? Or maybe he has, but
don't think he has.
So he's got the TT tomorrow, so that's really a rest day. Although you still have to finish in the time limit, and if you've got a banged up shoulder, going into the extensions might not be the most comfortable, but got the TT tomorrow.
He'll be fine for that, I think.
Yeah, he's got enough horsepower just to get round, hopefully. But yeah, the sprint field's kind of weak, I have to say. Like, firstly, there's no Merlier here, so there's an asterisk on anybody's win.
Yeah.
And now Johnny Milan has crashed. It's a bit thin.
Yeah, and I feel like that's going to stay for a little bit longer throughout the season because Merlier with his bang-up knees is probably not going to be there for the opening weekend, I'm pretty sure has already been concluded. At this point, I don't expect him to be at prime form by Gent-Wevelgem either, so at that point, it's past the classics. We're already looking at, is he going to be there for some smaller one Belgian ChatGPT races? And then the Tour de France, so half a season is gone for Merlier. And then I look at Olaf Koy. Virus sounds a lot like what happened to Laporte.
Yeah.
I don't know when he's going to be back. UAE Tour Classics, is he going to be back for Gent-Wevelgem? I'm a bit worried that we're going to have Milan versus Philipsen versus Brennan and a couple of other people in those races, which that's still a fine start list, but I want to see the best top sprinters against each other at the UAE Tour, and that's not really the case.
They're in Algarve. We'll do the preview shortly, but the Algarve has a better sprint field, which is strange. Maybe they just didn't want the sprinters doing Jebel Mora. But yeah, interesting stage one. We'll now it's a foreboding omen for the rest of the race if Del Toro's in this good a shape for GC. Tomorrow we have a TT, 12Ks around Hujrat Island. Normally it's relevant. Yeah. It's kind of irrelevant, actually, compared to stage 3, which is Jebel Mora, 180Ks, 40-minute climb at an average gradient of 8.5%. The last 7Ks at 12%. Brutal climb. Jebel Jais being replaced by that it changes the race massively. And I think is a big negative for Del Toro. Like, otherwise, honestly, if it was traditional parkour, there's just no way Del Toro doesn't win. Sorry. Like, he's already taken 10 seconds. Maybe he loses 10 to Remco. But then on Jebel Jais, he's winning. And then Jebel Hafid, he rides negative.
Like, let's say Del Toro loses 15 seconds in the time trial. That's not unreasonable amount. Then
That's a lot.
I look at
he won't lose.
That's also a potential worst case scenario there. But then Jebel Jais, I agree with you. He would have probably been the winner on Jebel Jais, I would say. So Jebel Mobra is the real changer, but I want to counter that. I'm also not confident in Remco 100% on Jebel Mobra. Like,
no.
He's also not the pinnacle of 6 kilometers, 12% climb. So is there a realistic world where we see, hypothetically, I'm just putting in a random name, Felix Gall, for example, win on Jebel Mobra, not winning GC, but the GC being fought in a second group between Del Toro and Remco? Is that a reasonable ability? Or are we underrating the fact that Del Toro could have grown over the offseason and become a better climber?
Yes. I don't think stage 1, him destroying everyone in a 1-minute power effort,
doesn't change much.
Yeah, that doesn't give me new information on what he's going to do on a half an hour, 12% climb. I know he's going to pace himself really well, which he always did last year, but he also has the physical Like, if you're strong enough and big enough to do what he did today on stage 1,
yep,
it means you're not 60 kilos. And physics matter. Like, I don't know what shape Van Aertveldt's in. Like, he's been good on Rampas. He's just been injured a lot, but in the Vuelta before, he's good on Rampas. Eddie Dunbar, not the best shape. You need to be small. I mean, Adam Yates normally on a Rampas like this, 58 kilos, that's who you want. So I actually don't know, which is why I'm quite excited for this race because it's different. But yeah, who would I pick for GC right now?
You want to pick Adam Yates and you know it.
Nah, because even if they take 30 seconds, I think Del Toro's going to pace himself well in the TT bonus seconds. Then on Jebel Hafid, they can play. I'm going to pick Del Toro because I pick Del Toro still. Not Remco.
I think it literally could go either way. I'm not confident in either for Jebel Mobra, but for some reason, I'm a bit more confident in Del Toro than I am in Remco, and maybe that's more of a fear of the fact that we've seen Remco be hyped up for certain GC races and then not necessarily be present there at the best possible level. He's been great so far this year. I think he's had the most victories of anyone this year so far, but I am still a little bit cautious, I would say. So I'd like for Remco to win the time trial, Del Toro to equalize on Jebel Mobra, and it all coming down to Jebel Hafid and being super close. I want the close battle here. I'm going for Del Toro as well at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, that was UAE Tour. Before we get into the other races, just a word on our show partner, Join Cycling. Wherever you are, particularly if you're in Europe, but around the world, Join Cycling has events. So if you go to the app, go right now. You all have it downloaded, obviously. Otherwise, you're not allowed to listen to the podcast. But if you have the app, go to events. And there's events like every 2 days, 4 days until the end of time, basically. But let's say pick one till summer. You can go to, okay, I want to do the Alps Epic, 20th of June, 2026. I can't do that because I'm in Tignes, but it's an epic multi-day mountain bike adventure. You can join that event and then create a training plan. You just click it and it says Join has the recommended level for it. It tells you your current level, and then Join will create a training plan for you towards that event. I think that's really, really cool, especially if you want something. I mean, it's just proven by science that if you have goals or specific events to do, especially if you publicize them like I have with the running event I'm doing, it makes you more committed to your training. So I would say go through the events on Join Cycling, see which ones are of interest to you. Maybe in summer, give you a lot of 4 months to go till June. My maths is correct. And then you can create a training plan towards that, and you're going to have way more fun at the event if you've actually done some training for a few months beforehand. And the training's not crazy. It's just about being consistent and not rushing it.
Okay, next
what event?
up,
Actually, ask Benji, what event might you want to do in the summer? But what can we peer pressure Benji into?
I'll take a look and I'll respond to that next week. Is that fair?
That's a
Give
good
me some research.
That's a good segue, actually. Good job.
But talking about this week, not next week, I want to talk about some races that happened, Patrick. Tour of Oman. Setmana Ciclista Volta Femenina de la Comunidad Valenciana had to train that 7 hours yesterday to get it right. Tour de la Provence, Figura Champions Classic, Clásica a la Región de Murcia, and Clásica de Almería. Lots of racing this week. But I want to start off with Tour of Oman because that's, let's be honest about it, it's your favorite. It's a desert race, so it's like S tier compared to the rest for you. We discussed stage 1, 2, and 3, I'm pretty sure, in the last weekly show. After that, Mauro Schmidt was leading GC. And we were kind of anticipating, is Adam Yates going to destroy people on Green Mountain or not? But I want to talk about the sprint stage on stage 4 first, Patrick. That was won by Erlen Blikra ahead of Emmanuel Huku. You've mentioned Huku quite a few times as a young French boy on Q46.5 Pinarello. Is the other way around, but take it as I presented it. And there were 2 potential deviation police moments. Are we coming out as deviation police? Have they retired? How do you see the situation? Do you think we should step in and put our flag up, or what do you think?
Yeah, Blicker should have been relegated 100%. I mean, he's chopped.
Mikkels.
He's put Mikkels nearly into the barriers. Mikkels had to take evasive action. It's textbook relegation. I mean, just consistency. Like, we can argue, Pog wasn't happy with the Rui Oliveira relegation against Fabio Kristen.
Yeah.
If that's a relegation, then the Blicker one is a 10 times over relegation. So yeah, I'm giving the win to Huku.
Aniolkowski was far worse, in my opinion. He went like from the right of the road to the left of the road, impacting multiple riders. So for me, that's then multiple times Blikker's relegation. So both of them should have been relegated, is how I perceive it. But now on to the more interesting stage 5 up the Green Mountain, and I'll present it to you because for the people that don't know, you made videos on both the Tour of Oman and the Tour de la Provence, correctly, on the Lanterne channel?
I did the uphill finish in Tour de la Provence. I got to do the stage yesterday later. I have to do UAE Tour today as well, so I'm a busy man. But yeah, you can catch the main GC stage.
Busy man. I've just built 17 Lego sets in the last week.
I'm allowed leisure time. Allowed to have leisure? Like,
you got to live stream your Lego building.
Who wants to watch that? Maybe people do. Who knows?
Half the comment section tonight will ask for it.
Yeah. Anyway, Yates had to go too early in Oman. Yes, he would have won otherwise, but Eastern Mountain, the crash cost him beforehand. There was loads of sand. I had people sending me on the ground. I have on the ground videos from Oman of the roundabout crashes. My network goes deep. My network goes deep in the Gulf, Benji.
Are you countering the Roodhof network?
Yeah, I guess. I don't think they didn't send anyone to these races, so did they? Gerben Tyson, your man. I've lost my train of thought. Who won GC? Oh, Scaroni and Astana. Astana keep winning. Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Okay, next up, Setmana Ciclista Volta Femenina de Look, I ruined it. I trained yesterday, but I ruined the name anyway. Valencia. Stage 1. Basically, to be clear, this is a women's race. Following is at the start. We expect her to win GC. That's the storyline. Still intriguing stages, though. Starting off with stage 1, which has a couple of climbs in it. The last climb was with about 15k to go, roughly. That's my assumption if I look at the profile. Shabby was setting tempo for FDG for Vollering on the Alto del Barx, and Vollering attacked. Only one rider could follow, Niedermeyer from Canyon, but eventually she cracks and Vollering wins the stage by 52 seconds on Group 2, so taking control dominantly on day 1. Stage 2 then was basically a sprint, I would say. Little Trek was present there for Balsamo in the last stretch, but with 2 kilometers to go, one of their riders crashes, which puts Balsamo in Narnia, basically. And then Ferguson was being led out, I think, by Lippert, and Ferguson launched before the final corner, gapping everyone and winning, so that might be her second win of the season. Then stage 3 was supposed to be another mountain stage with 3 climbs in the last half, I reckon, but there was an orange weather alert in Alicante, and dangerous weather led to a cancellation of that stage, so no stage 3, followed by stage 4 being another stage with a mountain in it. Squibon attacked on that final climb. Lippert, Vollering, Otterstad, and Niedermeyer could follow, leading to a small group sprint in which Demi Vollering wins the stage and secures GC. So, dominant start to the season by Vollering. This is what we want to see from her, And also, do you feel like we've seen more confirmation of Kat Ferguson that might lead to her being better in bigger races?
Not really. I mean, I expect her to win. Like if Balsamo's not there in the sprint, yeah. Like Ferguson's 20-second sprint is world class. So I need to see it in the. I haven't seen her climbing like Voss, like becoming that versatile sprint star who can survive like in a group of 15 or 20. Yeah, well, I don't know yet. But yeah, Wevelgem, she needs it to be hard enough that Wiebes isn't there, but not too hard that she's not there.
Yeah.
Whereas Voss is like, she's normally the 10th rider, and it's just GC riders with her.
Sanremo, maybe.
Sanremo's a good race for her.
Could be too hard for Wiebes in a certain scenario and could lead to Ferguson competing.
I don't think Ferguson climbs better than Wiebes.
I think that's fair. Wiebes has been really dominant in terms of being able to get over climbs before a sprint in the first place recently. But I'll throw it to you for Tour de la Provence, your favorite race in France. What is up with, why is Bessèges and Provence, start list-wise, reduced over the years?
So Trek were not in... Well, Bessèges had safety issues. There were trucks on the course last year, and I don't know if the teams, Ineos and Trek, decided not to do it, or if it was that they weren't invited back. But anyway, there were safety issues. The weather's often pretty shit. And
Pedersen's not there.
Yeah, no Trek, no Pedersen. Well, Pedersen, yeah, he crashed out of.
Yeah, of course.
They did Valencia instead in the hope of better weather, and crashed out. So, which by the way, I know I had a lot of Danish fans saying we forgot to mention we forgot to mention Pedersen did crash out in Valencia. I read an article this morning that his recovery is not looking too good. He's definitely not going to be back by
Omloop.
Well, no way Omloop. No, he said no Sanremo, and it's Flanders and Roubaix are in the mix.
I am hoping that it happens because Pedersen might not be the favorite for RVV. I don't see him winning RVV.
Roubaix,
I can see him being competitive for a Roubaix victory. But regardless of whether he's competitive for both races, he's always in the mix and he's always present and always lighting up in places where others might not. So I do hope that we see a inform Pedersen at those races, otherwise it's going to take away a little bit from those races, you know?
Provence, anyway, we do have Ineos here, but the breakaway stage one, there was so much standing water on the road. Arnaud Tendon wins 12 sprint with Mattia Bijs. Poor old Mattia Bijs. But Van Rysel, Roubaix having a fantastic start to the season.
It's not just that they won a Tour de la Provence stage, also a Bessèges stage, I'm pretty sure, with Heremans.
Yep.
Plus, there was this guy, I think his name is Houdouin, who finished top 6 in 2 sprints at Provence as well. They're really competitive compared to what I remember them being in the past. So great start of the season for Van Rysel Roubaix, and we'll see if it continues into some Belgian 1.1 races, French 1.1 races as well. But stage 2 was then a mountain stage. Once again, Tour de la Provence is also with highlight videos on your channel, at least the mountain finish here. Snowy conditions though. What happened in Europe in the last week?
It snowed a lot. It's been freezing here. Very windy. The wind has been crazy. I don't think it was in Provence, but in Spain, the wind has been very strong gusts. They had to cancel a lot of races. You said Murcia cancelled the last stage. And in Provence, Ineos just went all in for Carlos Rodriguez. It was like a diesel mega battle between Riccatello and Carlos Rodriguez. Both made a few mistakes on the climb. Riccatello played the card of Aurélien Parapancha behind, and then he just got ahead for the wet corners, and Rodriguez couldn't pass him. And because he won that stage, he effectively won GC. The next day, there was a breakaway. Axel Laurence was in it. Again, Van Rysel kind of should have won from that breakaway. In hindsight, they had the biggest diesel and maybe one of the quickest sprinters in the group. That Daniel Arns got with Laurence, and then Laurence went the right way around a roundabout last minute, got a gap, and then sent it, and that was it. And then actually in the sprint behind, Maxime Jarnet on Van Rysel came second, beating Malzin. So anyway, Ineos have been winning quite a lot of races. 6 wins, I do believe. Yes, 6 wins already. So they've started well. Also, Turner looked good in Valencia, I would say. But Riccatello with Luke Rowe joined the dark side in the car, rolled his former team in the GC.
Ooh la 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 la. To be honest, I'm happy to see Riccatello take this win here. A bit of a confirmation after his transfer, but it's also just the last few kilometers on the climb were so fun when it comes to the tactics between 2v2 between those two teams. Really enjoyable to watch. But now I'm bringing it forward to Figueroa. who's a Figueroa? Figueroa Champions Classic. There we've got McNulty attacking with 22 kilometers to go. Lots of UAE riders in this race, by the way. I think also Morgado, obviously, who has been very good in the Menorca challenges before then. But with 22 kilometers to go, McNulty attacks, creates a group with multiple potential race winners, including Aramburu. Just wanted to mention that. Paul Marti, Jarno Widar, Tom Glock, Antonio Morgado, and Dani Martinez.
And they'd already created a group before.
Yeah.
With she and Max Poole. Yeah, it's the second time he did it.
And McNulty kind of drops into a domestique role from this onwards, is how I feel it, controlling the race for Morgado, and it's on the climb with 7K to go. I think it's the Enfurca Keish, which Morgado ends up following an attack by Aramburu, and it's a 2-up sprint, and we both know that Aramburu sprints backwards, so Morgado wins a sprint.
That's the biggest myth ever. Everyone seemed to think it was like 50-50.
Nah.
They did.
It was like 20-80.
Honestly, people were like thinking, Aramburu is not fast. He's not fast. I mean, he can climb so well.
Calm down. You don't need to assault him personally now, okay? I need to start defending him here.
He's giving, 10 kilos to Morgado? I tweeted, he's giving him 10 kilos. Yeah. The UAE setup is way faster.
Correct.
Morgado was stronger. Like, he was pulling, and Aramburu could not, after the punch, Aramburu had to recover in the wheel. Like, and this is where, I know it's very theoretical, nerd, game theory, it's like not a PlayStation, but it's true. The only way for Aramburu to win is to accept the possibility of the second group coming back. And Morgado was getting frustrated. He was getting stressed. And the only way you can do that is if you allow there to actually be pressure from behind. It's actually what Aurélien Paris-Pancher did really well to Carlos Rodriguez. When he started to get close, he slowed down. So Rodriguez in Provence.
Yeah.
Aramburu pulled. And then he's like, oh, well, I won't pull on the last K. But because he pulled, the gap was such that Morgado then in the last kilometer didn't have to keep any pressure on the pedals. And then Aramburu also, I think Aramburu's 5-second acceleration could be faster than Morgado, but he made it a 25-second sprint, and then it was curtains.
Like, I don't know what it would be if it was a mur de huy between the two riders. That's where it differs for me. Then I would indeed lean toward... Then again, we've never seen Morgado on that kind of climb either.
Yeah, Aramburu is 2-minute watt per kilo will be better than Morgado, I think.
Anyway, Morgado wins. I like to see it. I think it's his second victory at this race in a row. Let's see if it happens. Let's see if this form continues into the classics, where I hope to see a good Morgado personally. Next up is Clásica a la Región de Murcia. Quick question though. This is now a 2-day stage race. I swear this was a 1-day race. In the meanwhile, we've got Alpes and Maritimes becoming two 1-day races or something, or adding a 1-day race before their race. We see multiple races changing the way they are scheduled. With Alpes and Maritimes, that shouts to me like they're trying to make their race more attractive by having multiple more UCI points by dividing it up. But with Murcia, it's like it's the other way around they've approached this. I mean, because it's now a 2-day stage race.
They got the best of both worlds. They had a 1-day race. They gave one victory, but GC 2 wins. So
yes.
So the second stage, UAE centered in the crosswinds. Marc Soler dropped Julius Johansson on the final climb. Poor guy. And then took the stage, and then the next stage was neutralized, and then they still give a GC victory. It's like Vuelta Andalucía. Did Van Hills get the GC win for it?
I think the points got cancelled out for the GC. So on paper, the points for GC should be cancelled out here. Not that it matters. UAE is going to win the World Tour ranking anyway, but if consistency abides, then the points for GC should not count.
So Maxim Van Hills was not credited with the GC win.
Correct.
In Andalusia. So yeah, in Soler, I'm campaigning. We'll get to Marc Soler in a second. Well, no, he should not get the 2 wins for the Murcia win.
That said, I do think it was impressive how Pidcock dropped everyone for P3 and closed down quite a bit of the gap towards Johansson and Marc Soler. So that was quite impressive towards the finish there, but not the most eventful race.
Do we need to apologize to McNulty for his...
No.
We don't.
No, McNulty was great at domestiquing at the Figueira Champions Classic, but what does that change about him having a hand in Del Toro losing a Giro d'Italia last year? I think there's weights to this. On top of that, just because you do something now doesn't negate the things you did last year.
How many .pro wins add up to the Giro, though?
It's a lot. It's like, I don't think it ever does. Irrelevant, though, is that I do think it's right that we credit McNulty for what he did at
No,
Figueira
he did a
Champions Classic.
fantastic job. He killed the legs like Weedar was sitting in the second wheel, which he shouldn't have, just getting killed in the wheel. No, he did a fantastic job. And
Anyway.
did he do it in another race as well?
McNulty, or?
In Valencia, too. Valencia, he was doing the right thing and Almeida was doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, final race, Clásica de Almeria. We've got Pinarello and Q36.5 and Bahrain Victorious being two prominent teams in that race. I want to talk about it because we spoke about kit reviews in one of the previous podcasts, but those two kits look exactly the same from the helicopter view. Pinarello and Bahrain. There's an issue there. We got to resolve it.
And Quick-Step, I thought it was Remco sprinting for third in... fuck, he's not on Quick-Step, is he? I thought it was Van Wilder sprinting for third in UAE, not Tiberi.
Okay, how do we solve this? We make one of the teams disappear. I vote disappear Bahrain because I like Emmanuel Huku.
Not doing forced disappearances, Benji. With especially with some of these teams. I just think change your kit. Just please someone pick a different color rather than dark navy.
Okay. Anyway, in the last stretch, there was a moment where Lewis Oski was basically doing the lead out for Binyam Girmay. There was another rider in between that was doing the actual lead out, but Oski was third last man. And going off the front, he looks behind to the right. He sees that sprinters are in the wheel of Binyam, and he actually moves right towards them to try and purposefully sprint in the wheel of Binyam to block other riders from getting around Binyam. How do we solve this problem? Do the rules allow this? Because I feel like the rules don't exactly stipulate this situation. It includes slowing, I think, in the rule. But this shouldn't be allowed, in my opinion. Because it almost caused a crash.
So Aski did this really, really effectively in Stage 1 TDU 2025. We'll all remember to Gamaraka when he was leading up Matthew Walls. Matthew Walls ended up coming third.
Yeah.
And he came back in, and then it actually opened a gap, I think. And I think the solution is that we have to, it's a team sport, right?
Yeah.
Especially in sprinting. You need a lead out. It's the lead out is the reason Binny wins. If you want to stop this, which is, Ricard does it, so many lead out men, it's like a classic lead out man trick. You have to penalize the team and take away the team victory.
I actually agree with that. I remember vividly there being a covetous victory of Viviani when he was still there, maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
Oh, that was horrendous.
Consoni went off the front and then deviated into the sprinter behind, nearly crashing that rider. And then Viviani ended up winning, taking the victory, and Consoni got penalized for it. I'm sorry, but Viviani had a free victory because of what Consoni did that day. Viviani's victory should not count then. And I know that's very controversial because we're taking away a victory of someone that didn't do anything, but it's a team sport with individual winners, and the team sport aspect should also be penalized. That's my take.
On the other hand, it's like, if you're from a team perspective or a scouting perspective, when you see Aski do it, you're like, that's what I want from my lead out man.
Yeah, but that's also the case because they're not being penalized.
Yeah, because there's no consequence. So okay, even if Aski gets a yellow,
yeah.
So what? Binny won.
I think is it a solution that both get a yellow card? Is that enough? The yellow card system isn't harsh enough for that to be relevant.
Yellow card system, yeah, it's just not harsh enough. So
how many yellow cards should be per team in a stage race for the team to be disqualified?
Oh, so you're saying yellow cards to be more effective need to count cumulatively towards a team total?
This is fun.
No, I disagree. I just think the consequences need to be like, if you're getting, who did Van Poppel get 3 or 4 last year? Or
5, I think.
Yeah, if his name was Nasser Bouhanni, obviously, there would have been an uproar.
Yeah, he would have been 3 months suspended.
Yeah, kick him out of the sport. So,
anyway,
just make him harsher. Okay, news. We had some more news from Visma Lisa bike, who've only won one race so far this year, the sprinting TDU Stage 5. Tim Heemskerk has left Visma Lisa bike. He was the trainer of Jonas Vingegaard for at least, almost his whole career with Visma, but not just with Vingegaard. He's been with the team for 8 years, and he said, after 8 wonderful years with Visma Lisa bike, to paraphrase, I've decided with a heavy heart to step down as a trainer and coach. The last 2 or 3 months, there wasn't enough room for creativity and passion in my daily work. That's precisely why it's now time to step down. But indeed, he wasn't just the trainer of Vingegaard, also, as the Cycling Podcast reported, the trainer of Jorgensen, Biganzoli, Beret, amongst a lot of the climbers.
The one thing I did see in the last couple of months is that multiple riders that left, for example, Van Baarle and Walter, were kind of dissing the training process a little bit for being too rigid within Visma. And I don't know how to read into this Team Heemskerk team. Tim Heemskerk? Oh my God. I'm anglifying every Dutch word these days. Tim Heemskerk, his quote, that there's not enough room for creativity and passion. I don't know if that's from a personal perspective or whether that also is a similar quote to what Van Baarle and Walter said. So from an external perspective, I don't know how to judge this. This feels like a light version of the discussions I heard about Picnic back in the day.
With Søren Kragh Andersen in the seat post.
Yeah, but a light version of it. It's all related to training in some sense. Now, from my perspective, looking at Van Baarle and Walter, Van Baarle had issues with positioning in the last couple of years. On top of that, yes, he didn't perform almighty after his first year at Visma. That was related to crashes, but also he wasn't necessarily at the best level in some races. Walter had a great first year in terms of being a domestique, but never really grew out to maybe the rider that he wanted to become within that team. That could be related to training processes. That could also be related to personal limits. I don't know. So I'm very curious to see what those 2 riders will do at their new team, whether they're
there was some big talk this week.
Well, did you see the quote from the coach of Van Baarle?
The coach of Van Baarle is saying we've got the V8 engine running, and if he gets 10 seconds on Pogačar and Van der Poel, it's all over.
I hope for the sake of the sport that we see something crazy, but it's not fucking happening.
You got to be not in 150th wheel into the key moment of the race first to actually do that. So
that's fair, but I am gonna monitor if more riders come out and say stuff like that, then maybe something is awry inside of Visma. But it's hard to judge from the external standpoint.
I have to say, the job Tim did in 2024 in particular, it was one of the most impressive preparations in combination with Vingegaard after Basque Country to get him from the ICU bed. Well, obviously it's not, they're working together, but the whole team, but particularly Tim getting him to that level in the 2024 Tour de France, incredibly impressive, actually. So, it's all a loss. But I agree, Benji, if Tish Benoit and Olav Koy also come out, no, but then it's really alarm bells.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. I haven't seen much from them necessarily this year yet, and the part of the reason is that Olav Koy has not been able to raise due to his virus, and Benoit has not been on the bike, if I recall, in races, at least. So his season starts with opening weekend. I guess we'll find out near those races what his level is like. I hope he's good, because I want to see the man continue on, because he was always relatively consistent, even last year, getting top 10s in races where other riders crashed out, etc. So want to see whether that continues on his own in the decathlon team. I want to bring it over to Marc Soler, because you mentioned earlier that we had more of a story about not necessarily him, but his dad. His dad, which from my understanding is an amateur cyclist that does Gran Fondos or something. He received an 18-month doping suspension. So Marc Soler's dad, that is, not Marc Soler, just to be clear. And that is not because of an anti-doping violation of directly taking doping or something. It's because of something called prohibited association. There's this guy, Pepe Marti, a coach from the old US Postal days during the Lance Armstrong era, that is basically, if you are associated with that person in any way these days, then you will get an anti-doping violation just because you are hanging out with this dude. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, so there's a list of WADA prohibited persons. It's called the Prohibited Associations list. And if there's a coach on this list, you can't do a VO2 max test.
A bike fit.
With these people. Yeah, maybe even a bike fit. It's why certain US postal people cannot be involved in Hincapie's Modern Adventure Pro Cycling team.
Yeah.
They cannot be involved
rightfully.
In the team whatsoever. Yeah, probably that is the case. Although they're in a NPCC now. The NPCC gave them a seal of approval. Also, by the way, yeah, like I think George Hincapie should be allowed to start up a US team. I think it's great what he's doing with Modern Adventure Pro Cycling. But that's by the by.
The US needs it.
Yeah, the US needs it. But the Grand Fondos that Soler's dad did, I think, had testing associated. And it just, it's not even that his dad, there's no allegations that he was actually doping. It's that he went and was being coached or associated with Jose Pepe Marti.
My worry is that I went into the article of Escape Cycling, massive shout out. That's some top-notch journalism, by the way, that article.
But this has been a rumor, like I heard this
that there's
a while ago.
That there's stuff in the article about pro cyclist or pro cyclists in plural also having an appointment or something like that with this coach Pepe Marti, which is on that prohibited list. If that is true, then I'd love to know who.
And that was the kind of alarm bells, especially as I heard about this before the article. And that's just not me. Like, it was throughout cycling.
Yeah.
The enforcement of this, you're like, this got leaked because it got leaked by somebody because they obviously were part of some investigation and got frustrated that action wasn't being taken or publicized fully what was being happening. That's exactly the same that happened with the Minar case. Someone leaked that to the USCA, to the press, and not just the USCA. It got disseminated. I got sent this PDF by Spanish colleagues. Benji got it because someone was unhappy that not enough enforcement or consequence was actually happening.
Yep.
So,
to be clear, that is the document that we always mention related to Caja Rural.
Yeah. And anyway, that was just to sort of raise my eyebrow a little bit. On a related note, the UCI there was an article a week ago, has further I quote the title from the ITA article. The ITA is the International Testing Agency.
Okay.
The UCI has delegated its prosecution of anti-doping violations and whereabouts to the ITA. So, and even like I try to keep really up to date with this, but I didn't realize that the UCI, it sounds like, then was deciding which cases to prosecute or not.
I don't like that.
Yeah. It seems like an independent body should be the one deciding that, and that is happening. So credits to them. I mean, even if it wasn't perfect in the past, I think the fact that it's changing means that it wasn't a perfect situation in the past. Now the ITA, so previously the ITA just did the operational. They did the testing. They did but the prosecution was the UCI. But now it's all ITA.
How does this work internationally? As in, the ITA is the International Testing Agency. Yeah. How are for example, I think CELAT is the Spanish one. What is the relation between ITA and CELAT, for example, or the Italian one? Do we know whether then work is distributed from the ITA to the smaller ones, or do they all do stuff independently? I'm very curious about this.
Honestly, it varies by national federation, and then prosecution also varies by national federation. I mean, we know
national law.
Some national federations or national testing bodies, some are more militant than others. Like, is there a Travis Tygart USADA figure hunting the top riders in other certain countries with the same urgency? Maybe not. Whereas the German Federation and Austrian is extremely strict, and in fact, there's criminal consequences. Like, I think Preidler had criminal conviction. It's a criminal offense to dope. So it varies completely, and some federations are stricter than others, or maybe more aggressive in seeking a case than others.
Okay, let's hop onto the next topic then. Pogačar shares distasteful fan interactions, how I described it, but basically, Tadej Pogačar posted a Strava activity. That's what it's called, and he had a bit of a text written above it. If you find me in a conversation with someone and you ask me for a photo, I ask you to give me 2 minutes to finish talking. Do you want 2 minutes? Do you wait 2 minutes or show me the middle finger and take off angry and have your partner yelling at me? So he clearly had pretty much a distasteful moment with a fan. This circles back to what we said last week about the Jonas Vingegaard situation. It's all about basic respect, in my opinion. If you go to a rider and you ask for a photo and the rider says, wait 2 minutes, either wait 2 minutes or get out of there if you can't wait 2 minutes. That's the reality of the situation. It's that rider that gets to choose whether he wants to go on a photo with you. And Pogačar, based on his Strava activity, offered that option in 2 minutes. If you can't wait that long, in Reddit words, you're the asshole.
I think I wasn't surprised to read this because I feel like we discussed on the previous weekly with Vingegaard, Pogačar has this probably 5 times what Vingegaard has.
Yes.
And I think he was like, okay, I also want to say something on this issue. And this wouldn't be the only time. This is not the first time he's had a negative interaction where someone's been rude to him. It would have happened before, probably. Just the volume of people that come up to him. How do you solve it? I don't know. Like, unfortunately, yeah, I mean, have you been in an airport, Benji?
Yes, I have been in an airport.
Yeah, well, there you go. Just watch people.
Oh, I have no clue what you're talking about.
Well, you see people trying to interact with the world and do things that you think are quite straightforward. You go to an airport and you see the variety in human emotional control, capability, dealing with frustration. Yeah. Some people just they do not have the capacity for emotional regulation.
I think you're the analyzer. When you go somewhere, you're like looking around and judging everybody.
The noticer.
And I just like in my own world with like the horse thingies on my eyes. Anyway, I think it's a very fair comment by Pogačar. I think he's spitting facts.
You know what the solution is?
Ban spectators not just in races but also in public.
No spectators in races would be fantastic, of course. And then so a golf state race.
Oh God.
And then actually in Oman there were a few, but Tadej Pogačar. I mean, if Pogačar wants a Gold Coast rental, he'll have no problem. But I'm not giving him a discount. You can fucking pay full price.
Anyway, we are laughing at the moment, but I do want to tender the emotions a little bit because we have a bit of bad news as well. There was a young cyclist in Italy. Belofte, is that U23? You don't know Dutch, so why am I asking you? It's U23s. It's U23s. Thanks for the help, Luke. Anyway, there was a young cyclist in Italy that was hit and killed by a driver. His name is Francesco. Let me load up his last name here. Mazzoleni. It's during training, and he was part of a club team called Good Shop Yo Yogurt. Now, this is not the first time we read news like this. And is it me, or do we hear it way more in Italy than elsewhere?
Italy seems particularly bad. It's very, very sad. I mean, 18 years old, doing it pretty like it's a very common sport or pastime in Italy. It has a grand tour, and it's also like where he's not in the middle of Milan.
Yeah,
you know, like so yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So I also read something on Strava. I don't know which rider it was, but they were in Italy briefly, and they were like that, you know. And we're also talking common areas where Contador lived and trained near Lugano, but then in going down into Italy, it's why I think Bora used to do a lot of their camps in northern Italy. Not sure they do anymore. Like,
the thing is, I don't understand that. Quite often when we hear news like this, it's a driver coming from the opposite direction as well. Garofoli was a similar situation from the opposite direction. just last week that we mentioned in the podcast. In this case, it's once again a car that came from the opposite direction as well. So I don't understand. Is it people being on their phones, not looking where they're driving? How can you not see a cyclist in front of you while you're driving your car? I don't understand this.
I don't know. I mean, it's scary. Like Visma has lots of teams. I mean, Visma has Devo riders who live literally like 15 minutes from this place. Like, it's scary.
And they probably know these riders.
Yeah, they'd be friends. So our thoughts are with the Mazzolini family and
team.
Unfortunately, yeah, it seems to be a continuing trend. At least, yeah, there was a group of cyclists shot at last year training. Like, that was just mental. So I don't know. I don't have the solution.
No.
I would just say it just makes me, I would never go to Italy for a cycling holiday.
Me neither.
That could be completely, in the aggregate statistics, irrational. Maybe it's more dangerous on the Gold Coast or Australia. But
well, statistics, Italy is always on top when it comes to on the bike danger.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to go to Italy for the first time this year. May or may not be happening. Spoilers. Not related to a podcast, but outside of that. But in terms of cycling, I'm not sure I'm going to take my bike.
Yeah. Anyway, very sad. So UAE is winning more than in 2025 already, apparently.
Yes. I got to update the numbers because I wrote these notes before the UAE Tour Stage ended.
How many did I say they'd win this year? 20 or something? 22 races?
I think you said a bit more than 22, Patrick. Did you mean World Tour only? Or
I think I said 75 or something like that. 75.
Yeah, I think we said
which
it would
is
be
still
less.
a shitload, by the way.
Yeah. But currently they've got, I think, 11 victories from the top of my head, compared to 7 at this point after the Figueira Champions Classics last year. So that's 4 more already. Did we mispredict? Or is this the start of the season just kicking off? Because, to be honest, these are the type of races where I expected less victories.
I don't think it's too early to tell. I think the key is they need someone to do what Del Toro did in late summer. So
Jan Morgado.
Can Jan Christian or Morgado go to Austria, go to all those races and win 10 straight races or something? That's the key.
Then again, does it need to be one of those two for Austria? Because can a Penicas or Torres getting close to an Austria mountain stage win?
Not the same. Like Del Toro won 4 stages in GC. Like they're not as explosive, nor as he came second in it. He should have won the Giro.
Yeah.
Like they're not at Del Toro's level. Del Toro and Pogačar, knock on wood, they actually cannot win more than last year.
Yep.
Like it's kind of not possible. So
especially with the race schedule that they currently have set up. Because Del Toro's schedule is harder than last year, which is a good thing. Because now he's going to be racing against top-level riders in every race, which is what I want to see. Also for his own growth, I think that's good. When it comes to Pogačar, he is doing...
Well, he's not going to do 70 race days.
The Tour, right?
He might do Tour Vuelta, but, you know...
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Brennan's at the Vuelta, probably, so...
Brennan's at the Vuelta. Okay.
What's he going to do?
3 stage wins and a green jersey is apparently not a hot take, so I guess Pogačar, 6 stage wins?
The sprinter.
For Brennan.
3? Actually, I've forgotten what the parkour looks like. Probably win every stage. So maybe he does win more. What was I going to say? No, the reason I don't think we're wrong yet is because Kosnefrad doesn't look like he's resurging yet. Vermaker as well. Like, I don't see the Hirschi 24 or the Del Toro 25 replacement yet.
I agree with that. Talking about replacements, Algarve is coming up in the next week. Also on the
start list.
If we take a look at Algarve start list, we've got the likes of Joao Almeida, Juan Ayuso, although the team of Trek has not been fully confirmed yet. We've got the entire Classics team of Soudal Quickstep, by the way.
Yep.
Kind of odd in my opinion. Lipovic is here. Jordi Mees for the sprints in that team as well.
Magnier.
Sixas, as you mentioned. Magnier for Quickstep indeed as the sprinter, although I heard he might have had an injury in the offseason. I have not had it confirmed by the team, so
But he already raced.
Yeah, but that might indicate that he might not be at his best, which is what we might have seen already in a couple of races that he rode. So I'm not sure about that. I hope that whatever happened, I can't disclose it until I have it confirmed, that he's over it. That said, Philipsen is here for Alpecin Premier Tech. I did not expect that.
Apparently.
What a lead out.
That's what I mean. Like, surely they split. I guess they maybe thought Tyson was going to be better, and that's why they sent him to UAE. But
or maybe last minute, Philipsen said, "I want race days before opening weekend."
I more mean Groves to UAE.
Oh, like that. Yeah, could have. I think Groves was just planning to go to this race, and then Philipsen last minute wants the race days and just added them to this race. I think that's the assumption that I'm making.
Bittner, Max Poole,
Noah Hobbs.
Weida, Blackmore, Alaphilippe, Kung, Seb Berwick. Hey, he won second off Oman podium.
That is actually true.
You think if he wasn't on the World Tour guys' equipment, he wouldn't have podiumed?
If only you had like a role in which you could potentially sign Seb Berwick, right?
He's under contract at Caja.
You chose Filippo Fiorelli instead. Where is your dedication to the man?
You think Del Toro would have won this first stage if Fiorelli was there? Don't think so. Uphill sprint?
That Berwick would have put a minute in him.
Listen, Berwick's a good long climber. I don't think he would have come top 3, all due respect to Seb, on today's uphill sprint. This Algarve start list is obscene. Like, Ghana on... what? Look at this Ineos team. What the fuck? Have you mentioned it yet?
I have not mentioned it at all.
This is Arensman, Ghana, Hajduk Jungels, Only Turner Vokala.
Who are we sending to Algarve? Yes.
It's their tour team.
That's so funny. Like, what? I'm trying to imagine what Andalusia looks like now, because
it's not as strong.
I can imagine, because there's no one left. Pidcock maybe Andalusia? Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But what is the difference between the race parcours? Because Algarve's probably the same as always with Foya and Mayao?
So Algarve is a flat sprint, then Foya uphill finish, then a 20k rolling TT, then another sprint, then the Malau 2.7k 9% finish. So it's
something. It's same as always.
Like, it's actually not... Only should have done UAE. Unless they made his TT mutant over the winter, you can't make up the time on these two punchy... There's no gaps in the GC guys on the punchy finishes.
Yeah, he definitely shouldn't have gone to Andalusia looking at the parkour, because that's
Andalusia is a sprinters race.
Well,
Laporte's going to win GC.
Race. I don't agree with that. I think this is Pidcock territory. Or UAE rider, most likely, based on the trend.
It's really not that hard a parkour.
There's definitely a Pidcock stage in there.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't really understand the concentration of riders into Algarve, I have to say.
Yeah, it's really not that hard. Even the uphill sprint on... Even the climb on stage 3 is super easy. Stage 2, 25 kilometers at 4.6%. You'd have to really hammer it, because it's 4.6%.
No, it's Foya. It's Foya. I mean, there's...
I'm talking Andalusia, to be clear.
Oh, Andalusia. Oh, yeah. It's a soft parkour.
Yeah, even like the bumps on stage 5.
It's a 4-minute climb, and it's 6.5%.
Yeah. Ay. Why is Almeida here?
At Algarve?
Yes.
It's in Portugal.
Yeah, he's Algarve. You're right. He's not at thingy.
But also for Almeida, like... I don't see how Kevin Vauquelin doesn't win this race in Algarve.
Oh, time trial? That's mattering for Vauquelin?
And then 2 punchy uphill sprints.
And Foya?
Vauquelin should clean this up.
Is always a punchy finish?
Yeah.
Foya is always a punchy finish, but Mayao I'm like never sure about.
Let me look at the history of it.
I thought Mayao had gaps.
Which is the one that Morgado dropped Vingegaard on last year. You're right. I mean, yeah, no, you're right. There were gaps like 24 seconds in 2024 on Malau, but between Danny Martinez and Morgado, there were gaps in 25.
Pidcock should have been at Algarve.
Nah, TT.
But he could have won on Foya and on Mayao.
He's won on
Came
Malau
second
before.
on Mayao.
He won on Malau in 23.
Oh yeah, you're right. They both got 1-2 in 2023.
You're right. Actually, there are bigger gaps than I thought. Still, I would have put only on UAE, and then Vauquelin. Yeah, he'll clean this up. No, it's easy work for him.
Okay. So why did Ineos send their entire tour team then?
Because Only's done UAE Tour a million times. He's probably sick of it.
Yeah. He doesn't like sand.
But
like
perversely, Jabel Mora would have been really, really good for him.
Like, was the announcement of Dadclimb being president of the race so late that teams might have already made their schedule?
That's the thing. Daniel Freeb talked about this on the cycling pod last week, but yeah, they've already made his schedule in December. Probably still late for him because he came late, but
yeah, then
they find out, there's a 30-minute wall that would have actually suited you. Well, you're going to change your program for that? Meh. I think I'm keen for Algarve. That is a really, really good start list. And yeah, in Andalusia, there's Visma are going for the first time in a few years with Laporte and Campenaerts, and then
Laporte is back. Oh,
hopefully. And then UAE will be the favourites with Wellens, Sivakov, and Kristen.
Talking about Wellens, is he about to win Classica Cayenne while we are recording this podcast?
Well, Classica Cayenne is on. We have to pick who's winning.
I'm picking UAE as a whole, so I'm gonna pick Wellens, I guess.
Give me
pretty good in Murcia.
Give me Pitcock.
That's a good pick.
He's a favourite.
I didn't see Q46.5 until you mentioned it.
They got Hermans as well. He can hopefully keep it together.
At Red Bull is pretty solid.
Give me Pitcock.
I'm going for Wellens.
So what race will you be watching most closely this week? It has to be Algarve. Like, there's just too many big names there.
Yeah, but I agree with you that Pitcock is the favorite for Classic High-End, by the way.
Yeah.
But talking about watching things, have you watched the Winter Olympics? What is your favorite discipline?
Not a second.
Really?
Not a second.
You're such an uncultured swine, my friend.
I wanted to watch Scandinavians frolicking in the snow. I'd go to fucking...
X-Training camp in Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, exactly. I'd watch Jonas Abrahamson's Instagram reels, but I don't. So I'm not going to put it on my television.
I've been watching two disciplines. First of all, short track speed skating, because my wife was a short track speed skating for Britain before. So it's a legal contractual marriage. I'm forced to do so. Enjoyed it. It's like Kieran, but actually interesting. No offense to track people. Kieran's not fun to watch. Short track speed skating is. But the most interesting thing was there was men's figure skating on, and we had like a Colle Finestre moment. We had the favorites I'm gone, I'm dead moment in that race, Patrick. So you got to imagine there's this one guy, Ilya Malinin. He's renowned for pushing the limits, as in doing a backflip during his men's figure skating stuff, doing a trick that normally humans can only do three times in the air. He does 4 times. Rumors are that he landed it 5 times in the air on training. He's like the Pogačar of that sport, so to say, is what I'm hypothetically trying to sketch. He was the all-out favorite for the final championships, and then he fell 4 times during his program. Massive plot twist, and a Kazakh guy won instead. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Bradbury for Australia won gold in short track when everyone just crashed in front of him. That was sick. But yeah, I just don't get into the Winter Olympics. I mean, the Mets have just started live batting practice in spring training. I just don't have time for Winter Olympics. My favorite Instagram content at the moment is the Kenyan running coach. I think it's in Kenya. It's the funniest reels. He's like, today, 3 by 10 kilometers at 3-minute 20 pace recovery, 2 minutes 4-minute pace. Talk with your colleagues.
You make him sound like a Dutch person.
And then 5 kilometers race pace. And then he's like, any questions? And they go, nah. Everyone does the maths, and it's like they're running a fucking 2:15 marathon. It's the funniest. My whole Instagram feed is just this coach saying the hardest sessions you could ever imagine. And then any questions? Everyone's like, no. It's so, and yeah, I don't know.
In Heemskerk at Visma Leasebike.
Nah. I wonder running. How do they not get injured? That's what I mean. I'm looking at what's your man did. He did a training session with the Venezuelan. Oh, that has a YouTube channel. I've forgotten his name. But like these guys doing 200 Ks a week, like with track sessions. I guess they do get injured, but like, yeah, how do they not get sick and injured more?
Crazy. Maybe because they are doing stretching and so forth before
No,
starting the actual
seriously,
run, Patrick.
they're not doing that bullshit. They're not doing that shit. They're standing there and he's like 10 kilometers easy, talk with your colleagues, 4-minute kilometers. 4-minute kilometers, bro. Talk to your colleagues. Hello? No, you think anyway, I watched the Craig Mottram documentaries again over Christmas. So sick. All right.
So happy for you. I watched the Bushes walk up and down the field in the Super Bowl halftime show. That's the only thing I watched from that.
So yeah, did you watch the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yes.
So it worked.
What do you mean worked?
Well, like you would never watch an NFL game.
I've never watched an NFL game.
Exactly.
I still haven't.
So, okay,
but I always watch the Super Bowl halftime show.
Okay. I'm the opposite.
You watch the NFL, but you don't watch the Super Bowl halftime show.
No, I don't know who Good Rabbit is, so I just
Good Rabbit. Who the fuck is Good Rabbit?
The singer.
Good. We're going to end it there. That's the end of today's podcast.
See you later, Benji. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining cycling. See you at the UAE Tour Stage 2 tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.